Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, my name is Nikki, and today I want to talk to you guys about the top 5, I guess you can call it the bottom 5, worst characters in Killer Instinct. Now, I truly believe in this game there are some characters that just have so many bad matchups, they struggle against most of the cast at the highest level. Their main weakness is usually that outside of their instinct, they just aren't as well prepared as some of these top tier characters are in terms of their tools. If you enjoy the game casually, you'll still have a lot of fun playing these characters, as I also enjoy using them whenever I play them. And don't let this video discourage you from playing the characters you love. It bears repeating, these characters aren't impossible to win with, but the road to victory is just so treacherous. Nowadays the meta is so evolved, it is super hard to win with these characters in tournament. Let's get into the list. Coming in at number 5, we have the aerial assassin Sadera. Sadera is a nimble character who takes to the skies quite frequently with her double jump, her ability to air juggle off of her launcher ender, throw, and shadow recluse, and has decent grounded normals and specials. Her shadow demon blade has lower body invulnerability, her shadow recluse has upper body invulnerability, and her shadow web cling is an escape style move that's only invincible on startup. Her instinct is one of the best in the game, forcing her opponent to guess which way they have to block her oppressive web pressure, as well as her mix-ups in the air. So, what makes Sadera so bad exactly? She has trouble getting in against zoning, like Gargos, Idol in the Mage form, and Kilgore. She relies heavily on resets and lockouts to get a lot of damage. Her juggles can mostly be broken on reaction, and she relies heavily on her instinct to make comebacks. She isn't garbage, but in this crazy game with characters like Rash and Arya running around, she is simply on the lower end of the spectrum. At number 4, we have Conrad, a trap setup character who relies heavily on landing his clutch command throw for recaptures, set play, and mix-ups. His normals are quite hard to use if you're not used to slow long-range normals like that of Dalsum or even Necro in the Street Fighter series, and his sand trap is very unique in that it can be a combo starter if he recaps you with the Antlion, or he can curse you with the Scorpion Tail projectile, slowing down your movement speed entirely. His keep away game with his Scarabs can be a nightmare for some characters to navigate, like Orchid and Saberwolf. He has no truly invincible wake up without sand on the ground, which allows him to sand-splode his way out of pressure. His instinct allows him to have sand under his feet at all times, which allows him to instant air dash across the screen like a lunatic. Conrad definitely has some problems. If you don't give him space at the start of the round to get started early on, he's going to get rushed down. His slow normals and special moves give him a huge disadvantage in neutral against a lot of the cast. And honestly, he's just not all that scary without his instinct. His zoning is nowhere near as scary as it used to be either. His sand damage and his scarab damage are not quite what they used to be. Most of the characters in the game can very easily just swap the scarabs with any special move or normal to get rid of them on the screen anyway. They're just not a huge threat. If you're not familiar with the matchup, Conrad can seem like a true beast, but once you learn the ins and outs of this character and how his instinct works, how to navigate the sand and the scarabs, and also how to deal with his command grab pressure, you'll find that Conrad is really just not as strong as he used to be. The character that Sleep once made the greatest Evo comeback with ever is now just a memory.
You will no longer need this.
TJ Combo uses a plethora of punches, kicks, and wrestling techniques to get the upper hand on his foes, but not so much in Killer Instinct. TJ's normals are short and stubby, and not very advantageous on block. His main combo starter is his target combo, medium punch, heavy punch, special cancelled into juke. This target combo allows him to stagger his opponent and follow up with whatever he wants, really. His power line allows him to cancel into 6 different moves: his back fist, his shoot toss command grab, his power line which does a ton of damage, wall splats, and has armor, his juke, his roll to get around zoning, and his low crushing flying knee. He gets a lot of meter off of his tremor battery ender, which he can use to get a lot of damage in his combos with his shadow flying knee. His instinct is one of the best in the game as well, which speeds up his startup frames on all of his movement and moves. Sounds pretty good, right? But here's the thing. TJ has no wake up without meter, and his shadow uppercut is very easy to bait and punish. His lack of range makes it very difficult to challenge a lot of the cast in neutral, and he has to take a lot of risks to get in. His last breath mechanic is nowhere near as useful as getting a second instinct, which if you're playing TJ, you're gonna need. Saberwolf is a rushdown character with great movement speed, tons of plus frames on his normals, and a great throw range. He can really bully you if you don't know where the gaps are in his pressure. He has a corpse dash, which allows him to go for a quick yet very cheeky mix-up. These are kinda hard to react to online, but they're never really real. It's always a gimmick and it can always be punished. He doesn't really do a whole lot of damage without meter. He relies heavily on resets, using the corpse dash of course. But if he does lock you out with 2 bars, he can hit pretty hard, especially using the Shadow Leaping Slash linker and Shadow Eclipse to cash out on level 4. His run is a huge commitment, but it does give him 3 different options. His running uppercut, which causes a juggle on hit and is also safe on block. His low slide, which can get under and punish certain projectiles. And his overhead leaping slash. The overhead and the low slide are neither safe on block. They're both very risky to use in neutral. His dive kick is a pretty good tool for navigating the screen and getting around zoning as well, but it's risky because you have to jump to use it. His 4-frame light eclipse is fast and pretty good as an anti-air, but it's not a wake up, it's not invincible. He can only truly wake up when he has meter for Shadow Eclipse. Compared to the rest of the cast, his instinct really isn't all that threatening. Yes, he has better block advantage with feral canceling, yes he has better combo routes, but at the end of the day, he still has to get in to be a threat. Coming in at number 1, Orchid is my pick for the worst character in the game, solely on the fact that I think she has the most losing matchups and some of the hardest matchups in the game, like Aghanos, Fulgore, and Arya. You never really see this character in big tournaments nowadays, and if you do, they usually don't stay in the tournament for too long, and that's not a diss to Orchid players either. Like Wolf, she has great walk speed and far-reaching normals, but her Rekka pressure is one of the least scary things in the game. She heavily relies on getting hard knockdowns off of her throw or side switch ender to set up a grenade, which is probably her best pressure tool. She does do a lot of damage, especially with her Shadow Flick Flack, and she also has a true 3-frame DP without meter. Her Flick Flack can be used as a low crush to start a combo, and she can also use her Blockade Runner slide to go underneath projectiles, and she can even cancel it on whiff into a DP. There has also been a glitch that has been found by Crazy Skate Nate, where Orchid, and only Orchid, can break combos and immediately get a guaranteed punish with Shadow Uppercut. I haven't seen this used in a tournament at all yet, so I'm not sure it's enough for me to consider her better than what I think she actually is, but it is worth mentioning. Her instinct allows her to call a Firecat projectile, which can be used to give advantage to some of her less safe pressure. The Firecat call on its own is on a relatively short timer too, and she can walk forward behind it to cover her movement, which slightly helps her get in when she's being zoned, especially because it will trade with most projectiles. Much like Saberwolf, she struggles mostly with characters that zone or simply outrange her, and to be completely honest, there are some matchups that I just don't think Orchid players can win at the highest level in this game. If your combo breakers are all perfect and you manage to get a lot of counter breakers and lockouts, then yes, that will make a huge difference in the long run. But if your tools are completely hindered by another character's tools, and you have to respect almost all of your opponent's options all of the time, then in my opinion, that's what truly makes a matchup bad in this game. As I stated before, if your opponent also doesn't know the matchup, then that will also play a huge part, but at the highest level, everyone knows how to fight Sadera, Conrad, TJ, Wolf, and Orchid. Once again, don't let this list stop you from playing the characters that you love. Killer Instinct is my favorite fighting game because of the individuality and creativity within all of the characters in this game. Pick whoever you think is the coolest and fight on.
One step closer to flushing out Ultra Tech.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, be sure to head over to patreon.com/ultratechuniversity. I've been professionally teaching players how to play Killer Instinct for over a year now. I run a private Discord server that has a bunch of secret videos in it that I only share with my students, and we also have weekly Killer Instinct lobbies on my stream, twitch.tv/NickyFGC, monthly tournaments with prize pools, and fun community events. Thanks again for watching, and stay ridiculous.